Michael here, just back at my old stamping ground over at Chiltern. I used to work over the hill here. I'm just here at the Golden Bar battery. Old 10 head stamp. So it was built 125 years ago. Can't remember exactly the date. Foundations here are still in good nick. You can see here timbers that are still there from over 125 years ago. All past there from up top. This is a bit of an open cut here. Not many people know that this even exists. It was removed mainly in the war years. It was used for scrap metal. Quite high up here. You can see the flat here. Even a wallaby over there. I don't know whether you can see him. He's just watching me. So this big cut here treated the gold and then took it down below, way down below to the cyanide dam for later use. There's a couple of roads in here that no one even knows. You can't get in here any other way but walk. Anyway, we'll go over and have a look at the open cut and where I used to mine. Looking down at the battery site, you can see it's quite a big cut here. One of the open cuts here at the Golden Bar, probably 30 metres deep there, quite a big one. This is the Golden Bar shaft. It's 1,000 feet deep and was worked to 700 feet. Our site was down here below us. I'll walk down there in a minute and show where we were working. A huge amount of gold come out of this area and was known as Higgins reef. This is the foundations for the winding gear of the Golden Bar. There's very little to be seen now, but you can see the concrete here. Some of the bricks left laying around that remain, not much at all. It's been bulldozed. You can see where the bulldozers pushed through and wrecked it all. You can see the vertical stand here of the walls. The quartz would have been sitting beside that. Unknown what year this part of it was mined. This is our site where we used to mine. Our living quarters were just here. Our compound here. Every day I used to park my car right here. As you can see, one of the old mines has collapsed from where the car parking was. This is our cap of our mine here. We went down about 210 feet and worked there. Straight ahead, up there, we went about 120 metres, broke into the old Golden Bar up that direction. We cut across the land here looking for another reef which we never found. We went in there probably 70 metres. We had several levels here. Bill Douglas, who I work with, had been here previously to the time I came, and came back, and I met him and we started working in the partnership. It was mainly Bill, me and Arnong, and sometimes we'd have an odd person come and help. Our local farmer Graham Hall, Bill's nephew, and just the odd ones that come and do a bit. That's the old Golden Bar Trail. It's been blocked, so no one can get in here by vehicle anymore. You need to drive in. Let's have a bit more of a venture. This spot where I'm standing now is where we used to dump all our old ore. So it's quite a deep dam that we filled in. As you can see here, there's the side of it, and out we would have put at least 1,000 metres of dirt in here. It's just come back to normal, so you know, people reckon that miners wreck things. Here's good proof. There's just rock under us from up to 200 feet out of the ground, and you cannot tell any difference from the rest of the forest. Memory is a bit vague on this. As far as I remember, it was the Golden Bar extended, but I'll have to double check with some plans to see. Anyway, there's other ruins along this area, Lady Rose and a few other bits and pieces, smaller ones. So this is the winding gear to the left over of the mine. You can see over there there's bolts where everything was bolted down. There was a battery here, quite big machinery being used here. I could have a photo of this, I'm not sure. I'll have a look through my records and see. But there was a battery here, and there's the odd bolts sticking up from the winding gear. You can see them here. So all this history is disappearing. One interesting story about this, though, was the man living here. You can see his old food tins back in the 40s. There's his sardine tins and whatever else he was eating. So he lived in here, between there, and put a roof over the top. He got badly injured, cut himself extremely badly, close to death, and another miner found him and said, "I'll get the doctor." And no, he refused to have the doctor. He said, "You can get the vet." "Why the vet?" He said, "Well, the vet is half the price of the doctor. Either get him or I'll die." So they went and got the vet, stitched him up, saved him, and he lived on. So some very interesting happenings happen on the goldfields that people have no idea about. Some of the workings on Higgins reef. Most of it's been bulldozed in, so it's just piles of mullock left. Most of it has been either taken away or just pushed over. So I've walked several kilometres now around the site, and noticed the government have taken some of the old historic infrastructure away. It's disappeared, so things aren't as protected as we would hope in the forest. But anyway, that's what we've got. So right here is where our shed was, our workings. And we're about, I don't know, approximately 100 metres up from our shaft. So I've got a little story to tell. I'm just puffing a bit from the big walk. So I'll just sit down and talk about it. So the Golden Bar shaft is just up here above us. So back in, I think it was 1994, Bill and I, Bill would drill all day and I'd shovel. Take the ore out, dump it down in the dam below, and then we'd stockpile our quartz just below us here. So anyway, normal day activity, Bill drilling, me shoveling. End of the day, we load up and we blast. So we've loaded up and walked down to the site ready to leave. Sorry, I'm just noticing a couple of things going on. Going to the shaft to leave. We get 3 rings of the bell, bang, 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 for Arnong to take us out. And Arnong's decided to have a drink early. Boom! There goes the first explosive. Boom! Second one. Boom! Third one. And Arnong hasn't even bothered to get to the winch yet to lift us out. So anyway, the dust is starting to come out. We're okay. We've had that happen before. She gets on the booze and forget about us. But so we just come out. Bill gives her a bit of a mouth as usual, and off we go. They go for tea. I go home. Next day we come back, and we go into the shaft, down the drive, and up to where the workings are ready to start our work. And we've discovered that there's a void. We opened up and looked at it. We've broken into the old Golden Bar mine, which is, like I said, just above behind me now. So we knew there would be a lack of oxygen, so we went to work in another area. We put our air hoses down there, which were probably, about that thick, and blew air in for 2 days. Both Bill and I were aware of lack of oxygen, but after that time we expected that there'd be quite a reasonable amount of air in there and it'd be fine. So it was quite a big void, and which later was to be a glory hole for us. But anyway, we've just climbed up into this area, moseying along, and lo and behold, Bill realises there's no oxygen. We didn't notice anything, feel anything, but he ran out of air before me. So we both grabbed the air hose and shared it back and forth, and we got enough oxygen, and then realised that we were dying and didn't even know it. We would have just both dropped dead there and then. So anyway, we pumped the air in for a couple more days and got over that. So once we got the oxygen in there, there was quite a nice void in there, and we used to use it. We dug a couple of other tunnels off it to venture out the cross country, which was heading out west. So we used to use this. It had what's called manways in it. They were timbered up from the old mine. Beautiful structured timbers, probably about, I don't know, yeah, about that round each, and stacked on top of each other, cross stacked. Really, really good condition. Very, very good stuff. So that was just perfect for us. We were going to use that to dump our ore down and save us carrying it down 100 metres down that way on trains. Fantastic. So we did that. And then one of our workers lost one of the barrow that Bill paid $5 for. So that $5 barrow he was disgusted in, and he decided to dive on it. He'd been a diver. We're in the water there. We used to pump every day, and we keep the water level just at our feet. Anyway, so Bill says, let's do it. So we go down to get this barrow. He wraps the rope around himself, ties it tight, and he said, whatever I do, do not let go of the rope. keep it tight at all times. Righto, Bill? He said, I've been a diver, I know what I'm doing. Don't you worry about me. Yeah, righto, Bill. So off he goes. Down goes the rope, down and down and down. And I expected him, he's a big fella, I expected him to dive about 10 feet. So anyway, the rope goes down, 15 to 20 feet. So, and then all of a sudden it goes slack. So I start pulling it, and then it pulls back against me really hard. And I pulled the rope, and it was tight as tight. I couldn't pull it back anymore. And next thing, it's just gone completely slack, and I'm pulling the rope, pulling. And next thing, Bill comes up, spluttering, spurting, and going crazy, and bloody, what are you doing? You're trying to kill me. And he's in distress really bad. And we get out, he hops out of the water, and we talk about it. And he said, why did you let the rope go slack? And I said, I didn't. I kept tight, and then all of a sudden, it got really tight and I couldn't pull it back. And I was getting a bit stressed about it. And he goes, yeah, think I wasn't. So we talked, and what we discovered, there was another man way under there that he'd gone up. So he'd gone down one, across, and then back up, unbeknown to us. So anyway, he got his breath. He said, I worked it out now, I'm going to do it again. And blow me down, he went down and did it again. This time, though, it was a success, and he got that $5 barra back. Wow, good on you, Bill. So Bill died after that. So one little memory. So I'm down in one of the open cuts, and you can see a shaft there, which I'm not going any closer to because this bloody widowmaker's hanging over us. I'd say that's about 200 feet deep. I just threw a rock down there. You can see here, this thing's going to fall off one day. It's quite a big open cut. Fascinating. Around stable now though, very dangerous. You can hear rocks just falling.